As an organization, MDA relies on crafting and maintaining relationships. Whether speaking to a retail program lead or others, phone calls are very important to the local and personal touch that we strive to maintain. As an MDA volunteer, you play a key role in helping these relationships thrive, and you represent MDA when you're communicating over the phone. So in this video, we're going to review tasks and expectations when reaching out to our MDA retail partners to ensure that we set you up for success from the very beginning. Our overall goal for this video is to share retail volunteer responsibilities, a recommended timeline for reaching out and following up with our retail partners, telephone etiquette, and then we'll end with some call scripts and a practice activity. We also have several tools that are available for you to download for future resources at the bottom of this training site that go hand in hand with this video. Upon completion of watching this video and practicing your script, you will be one step closer to making your first call. As an MDA retail volunteer, it will be your responsibility to coordinate reach-out calls with the stores participating in any MDA centralized retail campaign. Our retail account managers will be in touch with you to assign retailers, and they'll also provide you with a call list during your orientation. But let's go ahead and get started by reviewing some good tips and guidelines that are going to set you up for success before you reach out to our retailers. Reaching out to store locations really helps you to build relationships with our store associates, store champions, and store managers to keep them all engaged in the retail program from start to finish. Working in partnership with key influencers and motivators in the retailers really helps you and that retailer have a very successful campaign. So building relationships are key. When you begin reaching out, first you will want to ask to speak to the store manager. If the manager is unavailable, go ahead and ask to speak to the assistant manager or speak to the store associate. From that conversation, you will be able to identify who you're going to be speaking with moving forward. Keeping our retailers engaged and excited about the program and connected to our MDA mission is most important. Make sure to have fun, be yourself, and let your personality shine through a bit. Use these calls as an opportunity to really get to know that retailer, and make sure to share something about yourself and why you volunteer your time in MDA. You always want to begin with the end in mind going into these calls. We always like to have a good plan and know what we're wanting to accomplish going into the call. So when you call the store, think about what it is you're trying to accomplish and ensure to build that into your conversation. Remember, you are the store's greatest resource. You are a huge help in offering support and encouragement to our retailers during these calls. Make sure to take some time to really listen and do your best not to interrupt. If the person that you are calling sounds busy, it's always a good idea to ask if there's a better time that you can call them back. Make sure to always keep good notes, so that way you don't take up that valuable store manager's time by telling them the same thing that you might have talked to them about on a previous conversation. This is also beneficial in remembering what you spoke to them about last time. This makes them feel really special and important if you can remember some of those key things that they told you about. Make sure to review your notes prior to each call so that you can add to that prior call and, most importantly, follow up on the goals. Lastly, always give them a big heartfelt thank you and set the tone for your next follow-up call before hanging up. So while we're on the topic of calls and follow-up, there are going to be 3 scheduled calls throughout the campaign. Now, these are aligned to our centralized newsletters that are going to be sent out by our MDA account rep. As you can see here, there's a good flow that we have set up, along with the topics that you want to include in your calls. This helps you to know when to reach out to the retailer and what to discuss. This chart can also be found in the Guidelines and Scripts document that's linked at the bottom of this training site. Remember, when you're calling, that it's not about what you say, but how you say it. So make sure that your energy is up, you're enthusiastic and appreciative, and each call should always, always, always tie back to our MDA mission. Having good telephone etiquette plays a large part in maintaining a strong connection with our retailers and ensuring an air of professionalism. You always want to go into our calls with our retailers prepared. So this includes making sure that you know where and who you're calling. Make sure you have their correct name and phone number. Always keep a paper and pen within reach as good practice in case you need to take down some notes. Remember, the more informed that you can be about MDA and our services and programs, the better. So having all of these basic materials and information readily available for reference is very helpful in keeping you prepared for these calls. On this training site, you are provided with scripts that can ensure that all of the important information is covered on these calls. One thing to remember, stick to your script. Stick to your script. Do your best to sound natural and conversational, but you want to really try your best to stick to the script. So this is where practicing in advance can be very beneficial. And we've actually built a script practice activity at the end of this video, and we highly recommend you do some practice sessions before you dive in. We also want to avoid any unwanted noise. So make sure that you're aware of your surroundings and your background noise, no TV or music going on in the background. Just make sure that there's minimal interruptions and try not to eat, drink, chew gum, anything while you're on the phone that would create some of that unwanted noise. And our last tip, this one might sound silly, but I promise you it works. You want to smile when you speak. Did you know that people can actually hear you smile through the phone? If you smile when you're speaking through the phone, your tone in your voice is very welcoming and friendly. It also shows that you're interested in that person that you're speaking with. So make sure to smile. Call scripts really help us to feel more comfortable when reaching out to our retailers. So we've included 3 scripts, just like the one that you see here, that align perfectly with our call flow from the guidelines and script document that's linked at the bottom of this page. We would like to wrap up this portion of your training with an activity to help you be more comfortable when you're reaching out to our retailers. As we always like to say here at MDA, practice makes perfect. So let's wrap up this session with a script practice activity. Go to the bottom of this retail page and locate the Guidelines and Scripts tool. You want to download this tool and go ahead and customize your script to make it your own. Once you have revised your script, you want to do a self-practice. Now you can do this by leaving yourself a voicemail. You can simply hit the record button and video yourself on camera with your phone. And then lastly, we want you to practice this script with a friend or family member. It's always nice to practice the script with someone that you're comfortable with. That way you can get some honest feedback. This is also going to help you feel much more comfortable when you go into making the actual calls. And don't forget to smile, speak slowly and clearly, and really let that personality shine through. Thank you so much and happy script practicing.